David's a new student who transferred into the class yesterday. Everyone's very impressed with him because he has a gentle appearance and handsome like a prince in a fairy tale. Unlike his handsome appearance, David's quite shy and reserved. Order, class! Let David introduce himself. I just moved here. This makes him awkward when introducing himself to others. David's shyness made the whole class anxious. And next, he received mocking jeers from the boys below. They continuously called David a coward, a wimp, and laughed at him. David did not resist the call. He became increasingly afraid of the crowd's teasing. Order! Teacher Monday angrily slammed the ruler down on the table to warn the overly excited students. After waiting for the whole class to be quiet, Teacher Monday took David to Lily's desk and told him to sit down there. Lily's the class president of this class. She's famous for being beautiful and talented, but she's very cold. David was also bewildered and captivated by Lily's beauty as he sat down beside her. David overcame his shyness and gazed at Lily throughout the class. The next day, while Teacher Monday started taking attendance, David was nowhere to be found. The whole class began to panic because his backpack was still on his seat. He was the only one who had disappeared. David's backpack is here, but where is he? Are you going to play a trick on me? Teacher Monday was extremely angry because he thought David had skipped his class. Teacher Monday held up his backpack in front of the class and said sharply, "The whole class has never seen Mr. Monday so angry." All the students clapped in fear. They frantically ran to find David to bring him back to the teacher. Everyone knows that if David cannot be found, the class will never start. Everyone's been searching for a long time, but still can't find David anywhere. Things got more serious and everyone was about to give up when a group of friends, including Rachel and Lily, discovered that the school's storage room door was open. Both had a premonition of something bad, so they held their hands and walked towards the open storage door. Lily and Rachel gently opened the door and walked in. This warehouse of the school has been abandoned for a long time, so it was very dark and dusty. The two of them took out their phones and turned on the flashlights to light the road. The light from Lily's lamp shone wherever the mouse ran away. Rachel was even more terrified.
Let's go, Lily. I'm so scared.
She wanted to go back. But with calmness and gentleness, Lily held Rachel's hand tightly as she was scared. Both stepped deeper into the warehouse. After walking a few steps, Lily suddenly saw a sack moving as if something was inside. Lily hurriedly pulled Rachel's hand nearby to see. Lily's light shone on the sack and saw David's legs sticking out from inside the sack. Both Lily and Rachel hurriedly removed the sack to rescue David. David was tied up all over with tape and had a rag stuffed in his mouth. He was exhausted and collapsed onto Lily. Faced with that situation, Lily hurriedly supported David and turned to tell Rachel to go find Teacher Monday.
Hurry up and call Mr. Monday right away.
Teacher Monday, along with Rachel and the other students, hurried to the warehouse. As soon as they arrived, the image that struck the teacher's eyes was the sight of David lying on Lily. So angry, Teacher Monday rushed to grab David and threw him aside. Quickly, get some water and throw it on David. Make him wake up immediately. Mr. Monday called a student to throw a bucket of water straight onto David to wake him up. The whole group of students was scared and hurried to follow the teacher's instructions. David was lying on the floor when cold water was poured over him. He startled awake and coughed violently.
Teacher, I think David was good.
Lily immediately went to Mr. Monday to report on David's condition when she found him lying. Lily believes that someone had played a trick on David. Contrary to Lily's prediction, Mr. Monday was not fair at all. He turned to look at David and immediately imposed a punishment on him for skipping school. His punishment is that he has to stay and clean the toilet every day before being allowed to go home. Then, Teacher Monday dismissed everyone. Both David and Lily were stunned watching him. How could it be so unfair? David was the victim but was punished. There must be some mystery. Lily tried to follow Teacher Monday but couldn't decipher it. The story of David being found in the storage with Lily has become hot news at school because there are many people who really like Lily, and most prominent among them is Alex. He's the best basketball player in the school. His family's extremely wealthy and he's very handsome. That day at the schoolyard, Alex intentionally waited for Lily to confess his feelings to her. Everyone knows that Alex likes Lily. No matter how rich and handsome Alex is, Lily still doesn't care. Her face remains cold and shows no emotion towards Alex. Not giving up, Alex still knelt and offered the bouquet to Lily. Everyone in the schoolyard had now gathered and stood in a circle around. Everyone was eagerly awaiting for Lily's consent.
Lily, will you be my girlfriend?
But on the contrary, Lily didn't seem to agree at all. She glanced at Alex and coldly replied that she couldn't be his girlfriend. Narcissistic offended, Alex insisted on not letting Lily get away from him. He held Lily's hand tightly in the middle of the schoolyard and forced her to say the reason for her rejection.
If you don't clearly explain the reason for rejecting my confession, I won't let you go anywhere.
Standing in the middle of a difficult situation, I don't know what to do. Suddenly, Lily saw David walking towards her. David walked and read, not caring about the crowd. Seeing this, Lily whispered in Rachel's ear. Rachel ran quickly and pulled David's hand to stand next to Lily. David still didn't understand what was going on. He looked at Lily in a daze and saw her grab his hand and make a statement in front of Alex.
The reason I rejected the confession is because I already have a boyfriend. David is my boyfriend.
Alex gasped in shock. He flirted with Lily for almost a year but still couldn't get it. While David only entered school yesterday, the entire crowd was also surprised by Lily's declaration. Alex didn't really believe that statement. He walked up to David and questioned him.
Is it true that Lily is your girlfriend?
David's body began to tremble. His forehead was sweating. But when he looked over at Lily, David noticed her eyes were pleading with him. So, mustering all his courage, David loudly declared it straight to Alex's face.
Right, she's my lover. From now on, don't bother her anymore.
Having finished speaking, David took Lily's hand and walked out of the crowd. Alex was humiliated even more. He couldn't have imagined that he would be defeated by a new and famous cowardly student. Too angry, Alex threw the love bouquet to the ground and trampled it. From there, he began a deep feud between Alex and David because of the love. That evening, David took Lily home. He seemed shy when walking next to someone as beautiful as Lily.
Thank you for saving me.
To break the silence, Lily spoke to David. David seemed to be fascinated by Lily's enchanting beauty, so he could only stare at her without saying a word. Lily found David's appearance very funny. For the first time, David saw Lily so comfortable. Before, when in class, Lily was always cold and quiet. This was the first time David saw her smile.
You smile so beautifully.
Before David could finish his sentence, Lily stepped forward and kissed David on the lips. David suddenly stood still, his face turned red with joy and surprise. After the kiss, David still didn't understand what was happening. He scratched his head and looked back at Lily in embarrassment. Lily just smiled in response with a sentence.
Just consider the statement of the schoolyard to be true.
After speaking, Lily left because she was afraid. Only David stood and watched her shadow in happiness. I thought they would be a happy couple, but Lily in love is completely different from Lily in normal times. David was very miserable with that, because when they love each other, Lily always controls him too much. Every morning, Lily forced David to follow her home. Otherwise, she'd be the one to follow David until he came home. But following home is not enough. Lily will stand and check until David goes to the room before she'll leave. David really couldn't stand the control. In his heart, he gradually had the thought of breaking up with Lily. Then the most serious thing happened. It was on a day when David was attending the birthday of a group of friends. He went alone and didn't tell Lily. While David was immersed in the party, Lily kept calling him. David didn't expect that just for a moment later, Lily showed up at the bar and made him come to her. Too humiliated by his friends because of that action, David pushed Lily's hand away and got angry with her. Lily was stunned by David's words. Her face began to suffer and tears began to fall. Lily held David's arm tightly and begged.
You stop. I'm so tired of your control. Break up.
Don't. David. Don't leave me.
She's a sick, crazy lover. I can't continue being with you anymore.
Lily's pleading is so pitiful, but David's mind's now filled with images of Lily controlling him. Unable to bear it anymore, David knocked Lily down and pointed straight in her face. Saying that, David walked away ruthlessly. The whole group of friends also dragged him along. Only Lily was left to sit on the ground with a pathetic look. Since that day, no one's seen Lily come to class. Everyone talked a lot because Lily had been an exemplary class leader before. She was never absent from any lessons, but now he constantly does not go to class. Even Mondi was very worried. Every time he went to Lily and didn't see her, he sighed sadly. David also found it strange, but he thought it was because she was sick, so he didn't care that much. That afternoon, while David was getting up and going home, Rachel came to look for him. As soon as she met David, Rachel slapped David hard and in the face.
You bastard! You treated my friend badly.
David was angry, wondering why he'd been beaten. Rachel hurriedly grabbed him around the neck and accused him of abandoning Lily. David tiredly explained that it was because Lily had a love addiction. She controlled David too much, so he broke up. Hearing that, Rachel had to immediately explain why Lily was like that.
Yes, Lily has always been afraid of being abandoned. That's why she becomes so controlling with her lover. She's really pitiful.
After finishing telling the story, Rachel sadly sat down and sobbed in front of David. 10 years ago, Lily was 8 years old. She lived happily with her parents. Lily's father's a sailor, so he was often away from home.
How long were you gone this time?
Probably about a week. Stay home and take care of the baby, okay? I'll bring back gifts for both of you when I return.
But as soon as Tom left the house, Anna became a different person. She'd already made an appointment for her mistress to come.
My husband is gone. Come quickly.
The two were cuddling right in front of Lily. Lily's childish soul was tainted. She was very distressed and scared by that image. That time, Mr. Tom suddenly returned home without warning. He carried a bouquet of flowers and a teddy bear because he wanted to surprise his wife and children. But in front of him was the sight of Anna kissing his mistress, and Lily hiding under the table and crying. That time, Mr. Tom was really crazy. He burned down the couple's house. Anna ran away with her mistress. Only Lily sat and watched her whole family fall apart. It turns out that this is the case. Lily's not a sick person. She's not crazy about love, but because of the past trauma that has made her afraid of being abandoned. David realized that he had gone too far with Lily. He'd abandoned her without thinking of a reason. David realized that he still loved her very much. David realized that he'd been too much with Lily. He abandoned her without thinking about the reason. David now realized that he still loved her very much. Rachel hurriedly whispered in David's ear the address of Lily's house and that she had inadvertently learned. So David rushes to find Lily to atone for his mistakes. It turned out that Alex had always been following Lily, so he knew that her house was in this slum area.
David, did you come to find me?
And now, when he saw Lily sitting alone in a deserted area, Alex decided to approach her. He suddenly grabbed Lily's hand.
Alex, let go of me.
I won't let go. I want you to be my girlfriend.
I've said so many times that I won't be your lover.
Alex's goals had not changed. He's still trying to force Lily to love him. Lily had to refuse once again. Alex was not afraid of anyone seeing him now, so he squeezed Lily's hands even tighter when he heard he rejected him. He frantically wanted to know the reason why Lily refused his love time and time again. It turned out that everything was now being told by Lily. The reason Lily didn't like Alex was because she saw him as a bad person. Lily recounted that one day on her way to school, she witnessed Alex and two juniors bullying an old beggar on the side of the road. Lily realized that before in class, Alex had acted handsome and kind, but inside, he's a cruel person. So, Lily told herself that she would never date someone like that. After understanding that Lily knew something about her true self, Alex became truly explosive. He rushed forward and hugged Lily tightly with his arms.
Let me out. Help me.
No one here will hear you to save you.
Alex's intentions began to take shape. But Alex's desire arose. He held Lily down and began to undress her. Suddenly from behind, David ran up. David pushed Alex aside and punched Alex in the face. A fight took place between David and Alex, and of course with the strength of a basketball player, Alex won. David lay flat on the ground, and Alex stepped on him with one foot.
A brat like you can't stand a chance against me.
When Alex's eyes were about to switch back to Lily from afar, a brick flew and hit Alex's head. It turns out that the one who just acted was Mr. Mundy. He was staring intently into Alex's eyes. Alex's face became fearful, because everyone in the school knows that Teacher Mundy is a famous karate master.
Why are you here?
Mr. Mundy has always followed Lily closely. He never stopped keeping an eye on her and David, because Lily's very similar to the teacher's daughter who died in a traffic accident. She was the only daughter, so Mr. Mundy was very sad when she passed away. So from the first time he met Lily, he saw her as his child and tried his best to protect her. The story of Mr. Mundy punishing David in the past was also because he loved and worried about Lily too much. Back to the story, Alex did not care to rush forward when Mr. Mundy was there. Furthermore, his head seemed injured after taking a brick from the teacher. Everything ends when David now understands Lily's situation. He was not upset, but on the contrary, he made Lily feel more and more reassured. "I'm sorry, I'll never leave you again." Hearing the promise from David's own mouth, Lily felt extremely happy. The fear from her childhood had now been resolved. Lily hugged David. Suddenly the door opened. David and Lily looked out in panic. but it was a relief when they saw Rachel and Monday. The only surprise was that they were followed by Mr. Tom. But now he was no longer drunk but sober.
Dad!
Mr. Tom trembled and approached Lily and apologized. It was Rachel and Monday who found him when he was drunk in the bar to tell him everything. After understanding what terrible things his daughter had gone through, Mr. Tom regretted it. He promised not to drink anymore. Lily was happy to hear that her father had regained consciousness. She hugged Mr. Tom in happiness in front of everyone. So the worries and fears that we often think are sick actually come from a lack of love. The way to heal is to love sincerely so that the world is better and better.